Okay, are we live? We're live on Facebook, we're live on Instagram, we are on YouTube. Hi you guys, Jordan Page from funcheaperfree.com and budgetbootcamp.com here. And yes, I am in a hotel room. It's Tuesday, which means it's Q&A Tuesday. For those of you who don't know, I'm a blogger at funcheaperfree.com, and I have a fun budgeting program called budgetbootcamp.com. Use the code YouTube for 10% off. And every Tuesday I come on, and usually I'm with my husband, and usually we do this at night. We answer all of your questions live. Usually they're frugal living and finance and budgeting questions, but I'm actually in Philadelphia right now. I am doing a QVC gig. I've done a lot of TV before just in my life as a blogger, and so sometimes companies will hire me to do their on-air presentations if they hate being in front of the camera. So that's why I'm here. And thanks for putting up with my face. I'm not gonna do my makeup yet because I don't go on TV tonight till like 8 p.m. So I'm gonna wait as long as possible so it doesn't get old and crusty. Really quick, couple of orders of business first is, how is Shelftember going? For those of you who might not know, all of us Freebs are doing a challenge, and it's been amazing. For all of September, we are feeding our families on $25 a week of fresh groceries, and then otherwise we are using what we already have in our fridge, freezer, and pantry. You guys, I just bought some bread pans last night. I'm gonna learn how to make bread. I'm so excited. So it seems to be going well for you guys. Use the hashtag Shelftember and share your posts, and be sure to tag me, and I'm giving away a freezer, a full freezer at the end of the month. And then the other thing is, thank you guys for your support. I just announced yesterday that next Thursday in Utah, I'm doing a giant fundraiser along with some of my influencer friends. I won't bore you with the details because a lot of you guys might not be local, but if you are local, we're having a family fun night at a skating rink, and there's bouncy houses and stuff. And otherwise you can donate. Please donate. If what I'm encouraging people to do is, all the money that you are saving this month by doing Shelftember, my family is donating that money to hurricane relief. So if you can donate even $5 a person in your family, that would be huge. Just look at my, okay, let's get to questions. Okay, loving Shelftember, my pantry is starting to look bare. Well, dig into your freezer and then look at your baking items. There are so many things that you can make. If you have some flour, if you have some sugar, if you have some oatmeal, if you've got some Bisquick, even if you have boxes of things like stuffing mix or hamburger helper, you can make some really great homemade meals using those things as ingredients. Okay, I need help with weight loss, please. What do? You look amazing. Okay. Thank you guys, that's very nice of you. I definitely gained a little bit over the summer. I mean, I think that's just how it goes. I was hardly at the gym, but I'm happy to talk about it. So first of all, I'm 5'9", and I've always, actually I haven't always been tall and gangly. I went through a portion of my childhood. I was actually pretty short and pretty chunky. I actually remember I was at a friend's house, and her babysitter was over at her house, and her babysitter was like swinging the kids around, and she wouldn't and couldn't swing me because I was too heavy. I was a pretty chunky kid. One summer I grew several inches. I remember coming back to dance, and I walked in the door because we took the summer off, and I went back to my dance class, and my teacher was like, whoa, Jordan, you got skinny. And it kind of just tumbled out of her mouth. So from then on, I was 5'9", so I'm tall, and that helps sometimes, because the way I'm built is I'm kind of gangly and lurpy. I have to be careful because if I get sick and lose weight, I look kind of sickly. But I will say that I have struggled with weight in different ways, because if I put on like 5 pounds, for example, it will make the difference of me buttoning my pants or not. For whatever reason, where I carry my weight, it makes a dramatic difference in the size of clothes that I wear. So I don't go by weight, long story short. I've learned a long time ago that I don't let the scale determine whether I feel good about myself or not. So what I do instead is I really go by how I feel and how my clothes fit. I've got 5 babies. I had them all about 18 months apart on average, and my youngest right now is 16 months. It's the biggest gap we've ever had. I have to take a little break from having babies because I had some hormone replacements, which, let me know if you guys want to talk about that, because I've had a lot of questions about my hormone replacements, testosterone and stuff. I don't know if the people watching here are interested or not, but let me know. For me, my body really started struggling. I had back surgery in high school, but my muscles were so weak because I wasn't working out regularly, and I had babies back to back, that it like put me in the hospital with a really bad issue. I felt like everything I was wearing I was uncomfortable in. Like I felt like I had lumps here and there and that I was squeezing into stuff, and I kept buying bigger and bigger clothes, but I didn't like that feeling. So I did a couple of things. Number one is I did a 10-pound challenge, which I did it. You guys did it with me. It was a while back, but I got a group of friends, you guys, and all of my family members, and we did a contest. I'm the type that I need to like really kickstart this and hit it super hard or else I'll never do it. So in the month of, I think it was like a July or something, and we said, okay, the goal is to lose 10 pounds, and everybody put in like 25 bucks in my family, and anyone who lost 10 pounds by August 1st got to split the pot. It was super simple. And so we did that, and I didn't make the 10 pounds, long story short, but I got really close. I got like 8, and that was the perfect thing I needed to kickstart a little bit and kind of get the sugar out of my system and get me thinking about healthy foods. And then from then on, really, I just tried to make fitness a routine. I'm not one of those people who like loves to exercise. If I'm on vacation, it's not like I wake up early to go run. That's just not really, I don't love it, but I try to live an active lifestyle. But what I've really found is I joined a gym, and it cost a lot of money, but it was something that we invested in that I'm really glad that we did. It has fabulous daycare. They wash their toys twice a day, and it's like a preschool. I love it so much. So we go to the gym, my kids like it. I did have to train my kids. If your kids cry and you come and get them and leave, then they'll never get used to it. So you just have to train them. And then I found classes that I really like, but at first I started doing like the easy classes that were fun. And then after a while I was like, if I'm gonna be here for an hour of working out and 45 minutes of getting ready, I wanna be sweating hard. So I started doing classes that pushed me a little bit, but that were still fun. And that's really been my thing, is a routine. So every morning we wake up, I feed my kids, I get my bigger kids off to school, and then whoever's home with me, depending on the day and school schedule, we go to the gym. And I go to a class between 9 and 10 is usually like the hour that I get there. And I do an hour class. It always has great music. That's like my number one thing. And then I get ready at the gym. Because if I come home without getting ready, I'm just sweaty and gross all day long. So I get ready at the gym, and then I leave from there to go pick up one of my kids from preschool, and then kind of move on with my day. So it stinks because that's my whole morning, and I try to do that at least 3 times a week. And so then I have another morning that I can run errands, or another morning that I can have appointments and stuff. So but that's it. And then the other thing is I don't deprive myself of anything. Like I still eat. In fact, on my bed I have a pile of junk food. I've got some candy, I've got some treats and stuff. I tried saying no sugar, and all I could think about was sugar, and then I would like binge. So I realized that in my life, moderation is important. I'll eat the cake for dessert, but I'll also eat double helpings of salad if I know it's coming. I don't know, for me, depravity does not work for my head. Like I become OCD about it, and it's all I can think about. I try to make better choices and spend my money on a little bit of healthier things. So there you go. And then I see a lot of questions popping up about energy. And actually on my last live Q&A, that was a huge question that kept coming up. So let me hit on that really quick. Energy. Now I'm going to say this from your perspective based on the comments and emails and questions I've had. I've had a lot of questions of people saying like, how do you have so much energy? How do you get so much done? You seem like the Energizer Bunny. Do you ever get tired? Do you ever get worn out? Okay, my answer is yes, absolutely. I mean, you're seeing my life literally through a little lens. So you're seeing portions of my life. I am tired all the time, chronically tired actually. But there are a few things I've done to help, and I will actually segue into the hormones. When I was young, I had a really hard year, my junior year. I had a really hard couple of years in junior high. That was really rough to me. Junior high was not nice to Jordan, and I persevered and I survived, as we all do. And then I had a really hard year junior year. A lot of things happened. I had emergency back surgery, and I lost my position as cheer captain, and I lost junior miss to my best friend, and all these little things, right? But it was a really hard year, and it felt like I couldn't catch a breath, and things were coming at me really hard. And that year especially, I realized a couple of things. I realized that much of the time, you don't have control over what happens to you. Obviously, we make choices, and those choices lead to natural consequences, and that's something we should always accept and not victimize that role in our lives. We have a lot more control than we think we do, but you can't always change like what happens to you directly, but you always 150% of the time have control over your response. to it. That could be something like emergency back surgery that shatters your whole physical being, or whether it's having young kids and just wanting to get the laundry done. Whatever it is, it all comes down to attitude and perspective. Everybody's tired. Everybody's tired. Everybody's in the grind. Whether you've got triplet babies at home keeping you up for 3 days straight, whether you're retired and you're figuring out how to love your spouse again, whether you're in a job that's really hard, whether you're looking for a job, whether you've got teenagers that are stressing you out, everybody's got something, right? I think we need to stop looking at our situations and really focusing on the hard things, because they're hard, but we just have to know that we signed up for that. I believe that in heaven, we knew exactly what was gonna happen to us when we came down, and we were so eager. We were like elbowing people to get them out of the way so we could hurry up and get down here anyway, because with the hard things come extreme joys. So I'm going off on lots of tangents, but I wanted to preface that because I think what we need to do is focus a little bit more on the joys and the wonderful things, and immediately that may give you a little more pep in your step. I try to live my life a little more with optimism than pessimism, and I went through I probably had the hardest year of my whole life. This year, there were some really hard family challenges that kind of like rocked my world, and I wasn't quite sure I would ever be the same again. And the good news is I'm better than ever, because I believe that there's opposition in all things. I actually shared a scripture about this on my Instagram stories recently, but I believe that like when you hit something really hard, it actually expands your capacity for joy because there's opposition. So if your life is like this, then it's great. It's pretty smooth sailing, but your joy matches your sorrows. So maybe you're not going through super hard things, but maybe you're also you don't know how much joy there is to be had. So it's when you hit something really hard that you're like, wow, I have felt the lows and I have felt the highs. So focus on that as much as you can. And then just basic logistics of having energy is, for me, I really try to look at my day at once. And rather than taking my day minute by minute, I really look at my whole day, kind of like, you know, on your computer when it has this bar that tells you how much memory you have left. It shows you in different colors, you know, like, oh, you're taking up this much space in pink, which is photos, and this much space in programs. And think of your life kind of like that. What I'll do is I will say, okay, in the morning is family time. I really want to be on Instagram, and I really want to be watching my shows, and I really want to be cleaning my whole house and this and that, but it's not realistic because all my kids are awake, and it's not time right now. So that is my family time. I get them ready for school, we read scriptures, we work on homework, we get them out the door, and then it's my time at the gym, my fitness time. So then I'm at the gym with my kids, or you know, maybe that's my time to run errands if I am not at the gym that day. And then when we get home, it's like focusing on my kids again, getting them ready for naps and fed lunch and whatever. And then I have carved out this little time in my afternoon that's for me. Sometimes my kids nap, sometimes they don't. If they don't nap and I just need a little break, I'll turn on a show for them and I don't feel guilty about it, or I'll set up a play date or something. So I've like carved out this little time for me to kind of recoup for a second, and I leave the messes, and that's when I work. For me, I choose to use that time to do blog stuff because that's pretty much the only time. Sleep, what's that? Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, in the evening is family time, and then at night I've carved out time for me and my husband. Now, you guys probably see me on my Instagram stories at night, like cleaning my house like a mad woman. I find this second burst of energy because at 9 o'clock, I'm done. I'm done. And at 9 o'clock, sometimes 9:30, depending on what time we put our kids to bed, I get to be totally selfish and say no to everything else. If the kids need a drink, they go get it themselves. Bubba gets himself a snack, I'm done. And so if it's like 8:30 or 9, I'm like, I'm gonna hit this hard and do as much as I can, because then at 9 o'clock or 9:30, I'm gonna sit my booty on that couch and I'm not moving until bedtime. There you go. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's that I have this abundance of energy. I think it's just more so that I try to set aside chunks of time in my day to get certain things done, and knowing that like this is my one time to get ready for dinner, or my one time to get ready for the day, or my one time to clean my house or take care of my kids, gives you an end in sight and gives you a bite you can chew. Guys, sorry, I'm interrupting this program. I'm actually editing this video right now to put onto YouTube, and I want to add something because I realized I never touched on the subject of caffeine. So let me just explain really quickly. So Caffeine is great. I am a total Diet Dr. Pepper girl, and there are certainly those days or those times where you might just need a little crutch, right, to get you, give you a boost. You need to get going. But here's kind of how I handle caffeine in terms of energy is, so I've got some addiction that runs in my family, and so I try to be really cautious about caffeine because a lot of people don't think of caffeine as an addictive substance, but actually caffeine is just as addictive as drugs or alcohol or other addictions. So I just try to be careful of that because in my mind, if I am using something, whatever it is, whether it's caffeine or whether it's medicine or whether it's whatever, if I'm using something to cover up an issue I'm having, then I'm just putting a Band-Aid on the real issue, like what's really going on. If I have to have caffeine once or twice a day because I'm so tired, well, maybe there's an underlying issue. Maybe I'm not getting enough sleep, or maybe, as I'm about to talk about, maybe my hormones or my vitamins are out of balance, or I'm iron deficient, whatever it is. So I try to check myself and say, okay, if I'm craving caffeine every single day, multiple times a day, I need to fix something bigger here. So I've given myself boundaries. In our religion, we don't drink coffee or tea, so I don't drink either of those, but I love soda. I try to stay away from energy drinks just because they're, I don't know, you decide for yourself, but they're pretty hard on your body, and again, they're really susceptible to addiction, so I stay away from that. But for me, during the week, during the school year, I allow myself one caffeine day. I love Crystal Light Energy. I feel like that actually gives me the most energy in my body, and at least it's mixed in water, or maybe I'll have like a big swig. It's like a fancy soda, so maybe I'll go to the gas station and get a soda or get a swig or whatever. So one day during the week, like Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends, I usually have caffeine. Like if we're out on date night, I'll get a Coke with dinner or whatever. In the summer, it was like every day or every other day I had something, I swear, because we were up so late and had a really hard time. But so that's how I handle caffeine is I have one caffeine day during the week. Sometimes I make it all the way to Thursday or Friday, but some days it's like Monday, and I'm like, all right, today is my day. And then I will either get like a big old drink, or maybe I'll have 2 small ones or whatever I need, and I really enjoy it. And then otherwise, I just try to focus on what the real issue is and fixing that. Okay, back to your regular scheduled programming. Okay, let's talk about hormones for a second. So like I said, I'm pretty tired a lot, like almost chronically tired. And sometimes it's to the point where it's not like, oh, I could really use a nap. I'm like, I don't know that I even have it in me to get up the top of my stairs, like just really drained. Do any of you guys feel that? It might not just be that your kids are keeping you up at night. It could be a thyroid issue. It could be a testosterone issue. It could be a hormone issue. It could be a number of things. I've always been fairly even keeled. I've got some sass in me, but I don't get postpartum depression. I don't suffer with anxiety. I feel like my emotions are usually fairly level. But with my 3rd baby when I was pregnant, I would lose my mind at the drop of the hat. And I was like, okay, I legitimately just bit your head off. I'm so sorry. Or I'd get like so angry at stuff, like little things, like so mad. I'd want to like throw something, and I never really had that before. And it didn't really kick. I had the baby, and then I still was like kind of edgy and snappy, and then I had 2 more babies since then. Or maybe it was my 4th baby. Anyway, I like recognized this difference in me, and I didn't like it. I told my husband even, I was like, I always told myself I wouldn't be a yeller or I wouldn't be a snapper, and I totally am. But I started feeling bad about myself as a mom and as a wife and as a person. And then I kind of put it together. I was like, I haven't always been like this. So it could be sleep, maybe it's something more. Now, I'm gonna get really personal here. Sorry if this makes anybody uncomfortable, but I was having serious libido issues. If you're not married, I'm not even gonna explain what that means, but legitimately felt like, let's see how many times I can say legit or legitimately this broadcast. Somebody keep track, okay? Legit felt like I would be fine being celibate for the rest of my life and not even feel bad about it. And I always thought that was just me being broken and like something was wrong with me. Physically, I was having issues that way, and then really fatigued and kind of edgy. And so somebody suggested that I go get my hormones checked. So I went and saw somebody. She's a nurse practitioner over at Alta View Hospital in Utah, Sandy, Utah, if anybody lives nearby. Her name is Mikkel Smith. She tested my hormones, and I kind of told her some of my things, and she said, it sounds like your testosterone is off. And I was like, testosterone. Who knew that women had testosterone? Yes, women do, and yes, if women don't have a good balance, it throws you way the heck off. And some women have an abundance of testosterone, and that can cause issues too. So she tested me. At the bare minimum, you know, she wants women to be between 200 and 300 whatever units of testosterone. I was at 19. 19, guys, and I've probably been like this for a really long time, maybe even my whole life, and never knew. 19! So she was like, oh, holy mama jamma, we need to fix this right now. So there are a couple of ways that you can do things. There's testosterone that can dissolve under your tongue and you just take it every day, but that kind of sounded like the worst thing ever. I don't really like things in my mouth. So I opted for this little pellet. It's like the size of a grain of rice, and they'd like shoot it under your skin, in your butt, and it slowly dissolves over 3 or 4 months, and it's like a super slow release testosterone. I ended up actually having to get 2 of them, so I did one and another. For some people, there's this magical immediate difference. Like Mikkel, not a lot of people do this, and she had some patients that were flying all the way to Arizona to get this hormone treatment done, and she was like, well, what is this? And she had it done, and it literally changed her life because she was having a lot of the same issues that I have been having. And so now she got trained and does it herself because it's been a game changer for her and so many people. Anyway, for me, the change has been very subtle, and I don't think it's been this magic pill, but I got my blood tested, and come to find out, it was so many things. I was extremely iron deficient. And I've known this, like when I'm pregnant, they say that I need to take iron and whatever, but super extreme deficiency, really deficient in vitamin D and a couple of things that now I'm taking supplements. And I'm like, you guys, sometimes we just chalk it up to being low energy, or maybe I just don't get a lot done in my day, or maybe I'm just whatever, it's this phase of life, or sometimes maybe you're totally out of balance. My numbers were so crazy off, and even my thyroid was fine, but just a little bit off. It's like, why do we need to live with these issues? Why not get them fixed? So I have so many vitamins and supplements that it's not just a multivitamin. They're very specific vitamins that I'm taking. For heaven's sakes, my body has been starved of some really important things that I've needed. So go find a doctor, go find someone who will test your hormones and get your blood checked, and take some supplements. You know, you don't have to go on medication necessarily. I'm not your doctor. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but sometimes some vitamins help. I cannot get pregnant while I'm on this testosterone replacement because it is unsafe for the baby, because it can mess up the baby's hormones, and you don't want to start a baby off that way. So we made the choice. We kind of had a hard marriage year this year. I kind of talked about it on my blog that we went to marriage counseling for the first time. There's a lot of external issues going on, and just I felt like we kind of lost touch a little bit, and we had some really big family changes. We moved and we had a baby, and Bubba's had a company that failed and a company that's thriving, and so it totally changed his work dynamic, and so many things were going on, and we really had a hard marriage year. So we started going to counseling, and the counselor actually is who suggested that I go get my hormones checked, because intimacy and physical interaction was like a huge challenge for us. Total TMI, guys, sorry. I have no filter because nobody talks about this stuff. I'm happy to do it. So anyway, we went to counseling a couple of times, and it like was awesome. Best thing ever, worth every dime. And so we just kind of made the choice that we're like, you know what, let's take a year. We've had 5 babies back to back. That'll make anybody crazy, right? So let's just take a year. Let's get everything settled. Use this time to figure out where we're going with careers and with family and with our house and marriage, all these other things. And it's been really great. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hit these hormones super hard for this year, and then once they're all out of my system, you know, maybe next spring or something, we'll start trying again. So then we'll complete our family at that point. I wish I could just sit and chit chat with you guys all day long. Hold on, actually, let me see if I got a text. Oh, perfect, I've got a little bit of extra time. My meeting was pushed back a little bit, so I'm fine to sit and chit chat if you guys are. Maybe I won't put this one on YouTube because it's so long, I don't know. So there you go, we covered a lot of things. We kind of covered, you know, marriage. I really believe in counseling. Go get your hormones checked. I have really strong opinions about anxiety. I got anxiety so bad a couple of months ago during this personal and family crisis that I really understand anxiety a lot now, but I also learned that I think anxiety is this vicious cycle where you feel anxious and you're anxious about being anxious, which makes your anxiety worse, and you have anxiety about your anxiety. And I found myself doing that. If you're really suffering from anxiety, maybe start at the very basics, like the foundation of who you are. Check your faith, check your marriage, check yourself as a person. Like maybe that's your body or your mind making you feel a certain way, but really it's manifesting a manifestation of something else. Go to counseling, get your hormones checked, and maybe try to hold off on medication until you're sure that all of those things are in order. Because I know for some people, they go to medication first and it's just putting a band-aid on some deeper issues. But otherwise, I'm not gonna say anything else about it because everybody is different and anxiety is very real. It's an epidemic right now, it really is. And so get help is all I have to say, is you don't have to live with whatever you're dealing with. Okay. Let's move on to some lighter things. You guys are awesome. So much of hormones, anxiety, energy levels all have to do with gut health, sugar, gluten intolerance. Yes, a freaking man. You guys are cute. When I was having anxiety really badly, so badly that it was affecting my kidneys. Have you guys ever had that? I was having kidney and back issues so badly. My counselor totally nailed it, and that it was a manifestation of anxiety. And that anxiety came down to this inner turmoil I was having. And I'm not gonna give you the issues because it's not really my story to tell fully, but just some really big crises that really like made me stop and have to get introspective and question myself as a person and like, well, what do I believe, and different things. So I realized that was just like my head and my spirit, my body, I needed to figure it out. Anyway, okay, let's talk about things other than hormones. What's your motivation for keeping up with the mama mojo with kids so young and close? We're getting burnt out with toddlers. Boy, toddlers are hard. They're so hard, but teenagers are hard, and tweenagers are hard, and adult kids are hard, and kids are hard. And guess what? Grown-ups are super hard, even if they're not your own kids. Relationships are hard. Being a human, being a freaking human being is hard. So it's all hard, and so I just don't try to think of it as hard anymore. I really don't. Because if you try to think of it as hard, your whole everything, your whole freaking life is hard. It just is. It's what you signed up for. It's like if you signed up to be a coal shoveler and your whole job all day long was to shovel coal in a train to keep this train moving. It's like you could every day, 10 times a day, be like, oh my gosh, this is hard. Or you just kind of be like, we are moving this train, man. We got this. Just realize that you didn't sign up to be the conductor. You signed up to be the coal shoveler. So a lot of like accepting your reality and embracing it is a better word. Embracing that reality, but also give yourself a break and realize that there's a time and a season, and that it really is so hard with toddlers. You're not getting sleep. You've got little people yelling at you all day long. You physically are providing for these little bodies that would die if you were not providing for them. So all of those things, and give yourself opportunities to have a little break. I started getting my nails done because once a month, it's really nice to just go sit for a minute. I'm not able to be on my phone while I'm getting my nails done. I don't talk to the person doing my nails. I just like sit there and I listen to people around me and I kind of detox, and I come back in a way better mood after getting my nails done. It's worth the 30 bucks. I have really good girlfriends, and we have this group text going that one of them, in fact, just last night, I was so bummed that I'm not in town. One of them was like, guys, I need a mom break. Who wants to meet at Swig in like 30 minutes? And so sometimes it helps to have some friends. If you're really feeling downtrodden and really struggling, go get your hormones checked, go to therapy, check in with your spouse and your faith, truthfully. And those will help a lot. Maybe find some hobbies. Maybe go exercise. I found myself getting really down, and then I started exercising and just started feeling better about myself and feeling healthier. All those things I think really help a lot. Okay, can we talk chores for different age groups? I have a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old, and my 10-year-old gets jealous of a 6-year-old sis thinking we're favoring her. That is really hard. Growing up, there was a dynamic where I was just the kid that was self-motivated. My mom didn't have to tell me to go get a job. I just got one because I wanted spending money. Whereas with other people in my family, or maybe they got in trouble more, or maybe they, whatever it is, like every kid is very different. My mom says I raised myself, like I was, in terms of discipline, I didn't need a lot, but then some of my brothers really were just like, my parents had to be on their case all the time. So just understand that kids are different and you can't parent them all the same. Same in my family right now. My oldest Hutch, like I could just cry thinking about him. He's like the most incredible kid I've ever known. He is incredible, and it has nothing to do with me. It's just how he was born. He came out special, and he just is the kindest, most responsible. He's way more responsible than me. And then my second, Priya, is kind of like me at heart. She's a little distracted and loves to party and would rather sit in the back of class and chit chat than learn anything. And so we struggle with her a little bit more. So with chores, treat them as differently as you do your own children, but at the same time, be very careful not to use your kids' personalities as an excuse, or not excuse, but don't allow it to let them to get off easy. You have to be careful to set certain boundaries and rules and guidelines that apply to everyone equally. So maybe what you do is you have a chore chart for your 10-year-old with chores that your 10-year-old can handle. And that 10-year-old chart may look very different than the chart that your 6-year-old has when they turn 10. Does that make sense? But then the rule all around is that the chores have to be done by dinner, and if they're not, you can't have dessert. And that's fair. That's fair because everybody has the same boundaries and guidelines, but then it's not like they all have the same chore. So maybe your 6-year-old really just can't handle 8 chores a day. Maybe your 10-year-old can. And that's just something that you have to teach your kids, that everybody's different. And sometimes it comes down to the phrases we all hate, which is like, when you're a grown-up, you can parent your kids however you want. Or maybe you sit them down and explain, like, look, honey, you are so responsible, you are so smart, and you can just do more. You're a person that can handle more. And so I adjust with you, adjust for you what you can handle, and I adjust for them what they can handle, and kind of have an adult conversation with them about that. But I really believe in chore charts, but I do believe that it's up to us as parents to make sure that we're the ones facilitating that and making sure that we, like, what's the word? That we're on it, and that if we say that your chores need to be done, that we hold up our end of making sure there are consequences for that. Good and bad. Oh my gosh. Okay, how do you regulate TV time? Okay, so remember how earlier I was talking about how I try to look at my whole day, and I look at it almost like you would on a calendar on your phone. Do you guys have the Google Calendar app? Where it's like if you have something, it's like this little rectangle that blocks out your day. So I think of my day in blocks. For my kids, the window of opportunity for them to watch TV is after school, before dinner. That is like, if they get any screen time, that's their window. So knowing that, so we don't do screens of any kind before school. It's just too crazy. There's plenty they can get done before school, and then they're at school or at home. My little kids have, they can watch a show after nap time, a little PBS show or whatever, before the other kids come home from school, because they're little, they're in preschool. But for my big kids, so they come home from school, and they almost always, my Hutch is really into Guitar Hero right now. So he's like, can I play Guitar Hero? And my answer is always, did you get your chart done? I will do a post on this. I did a video on this, one of my live Q&As that's, I think it's on YouTube, right guys? I show my chore chart and different things, but I'll do a post about it so you can refer back easily. But I have this chart, and it's very simple. Before school, it's get dressed before you come down, make your bed, clean your room, put any clothes away. I try to put their basket of clean clothes in their room at night before I go to bed. Do their zone. We have like cleaning zones. They need to do a chore. Okay, now we're on after school or any time of the day. Their zone, 1 chore stick. Oh, they need to pray. We're trying to teach our kids to pray. So they have to pray before they come down in the morning, and we give them an X for that. They have to pack their lunch before they go to bed, do their homework, and get their reading in. And for Hutch, he takes piano, so he has to practice piano. That's a lot of X's, but they're also things that like they should be doing anyway without my help. At 7, 6, 4, and my 2-year-old, she needs my help with a lot of it, but everybody else can handle themselves. Then I have a baby. If their X's are done, then they can watch, have a half hour of screens. If they're like, we never get to watch TV, I'm like, do your chart then. Sorry. Like, that's not my fault. You have this window. You are welcome to. You can play the iPad, you can watch TV, whatever you want to do. But you got to do your crap first, just like grown-ups. It's like we can't just have everything we want without doing our chores first. So that's kind of, it's taken the pressure off of me. But then after dinner, it's too late. It's like we've got homework and we need to get ready for bed and get ready for the next day. But then on Fridays, we always watch a movie as a family. We rarely get through the whole thing, but that's like a day where we can all just sit and veg and for like an hour watch a show together. So we try to make that special. So that's kind of how we do screens. All right, I'm gonna do one more question. This has been really fun to just sit and chit chat, but this is getting so long. I'm sorry guys. Sorry I missed all your comments. they go so fast and I'm trying to make eye contact. What does your daily routine look like? Do you follow a block style system for you too? Yeah, I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I do. Like, one of the challenges I was having, I think that led to this like personal, I say that I had a third life crisis this year. I just, like I said, a lot of things happened. I had another baby and my hormones were off and we moved, and like family issues and just a lot of stresses, and then some marriage issues and like work, all these things. It was just like one of those weird years where I stopped and had to reassess everything and start over clean, which I can only hope for you guys. I hope all of you get a reset year. And if it doesn't happen naturally, give yourself a reset year where you start over. I announced that I was done blogging. I was tired of playing the game, so now I don't even consider myself a blogger anymore. I just kind of do what I feel like I should do on that day when I want to do it. And I feel like I've made so much more of a difference over the last few months by doing what I have felt and not what I felt like I should be feeling to do. Anyway, little things like that. I've reassessed my priorities and I've put God first instead of like fourth. I've put my health as more of a priority and my family. I've put my husband above my kids. I reassess things. So I hope all of you guys get the chance to do that. And with that came figuring out a time for everything. There is not time for everything, but on my priority list, which goes like this: God, Bubba, my husband, my kids, my health, which actually, like, arguably your health could come before your kids, but I do feel like your kids should come before the gym. But at the same time, like, maybe there are, you know, it's very important, of course. And then my home duties, and then my work, which is like blogging stuff, social media, and even like friends and church responsibilities and social scene goes even before work. So that's my arrangement. So that in mind, my day goes like this. I started setting my alarm and waking up 15 minutes earlier. And I know that's not a lot, but it is for me. I am not a morning person. So I wake up at 6:30 and I read my scriptures. I've never my whole life ever had a good routine with reading scriptures ever. I'm a good person. I believe it. Yay, Jesus. Go to church every Sunday, the whole thing. But now, like, I'm trying to figure it out for me and what I believe in and finding my own testimony there. And so I read my scriptures, and I'll show you guys my system on Instagram stories if you're ever curious. But like, I have found a lot of joy in color coding my scriptures. So anytime they talk about Christ, I just highlight it in yellow. If they ever talk about, family, it's in blue. If they ever talk about, so anyway, it's really fun because I can see these themes popping up in my scriptures that I've never really noticed before. And then, yeah, so I read my scriptures, I get totally ready, usually for the gym. I put on my gym clothes, and then it's all family, and I get them ready. I feed them a warm breakfast. We don't do cereal. I try to really focus on getting them fed well and get them out the door. And then we go to the gym because that's my time to exercise. And then that hour or 45 minutes or 30 minutes actually that I get to get ready in the day. Sometimes I'll listen to an audiobook because I found myself like I hadn't read anymore. Like I stopped reading. And so I try to listen to an audiobook, or maybe that's the time that I work on emails or get caught up on a few things. I'll usually do a social media post then. And then I pick up my kids and we do lunch, and I kind of do the whole kid thing. I go home and clean up breakfast for the first time as things are like fully crusted on the counter. Whatever, run an errand, do whatever I need to, put the kids down for a nap, and then that's my work time. That's like the one time in my day where I am selfish and I ignore my texts. I try to. I don't, like, even if Bubba comes home, I'm like, love you, babe, sorry, I'm plugged in, is what I call it. I get plugged in, and he even knows. I'm like, I'm not ignoring you. Your time is later. Just give me a minute. I try to cram in as much as I can in like an hour. It's never enough time. And that's my time. If the kids are awake, I'm like, I don't even care. Go turn on a show. Go play downstairs. I honestly don't care what you do. Just let me work. And then after that, it's like, it's time to pick up carpool and after school snacks and getting kids off to dance and soccer. I get dinner ready. I do the family thing. We always eat dinner as a family, even if it's at a weird time or in the car. And then put the kids to bed. And then this is what changed for me is after dinner is Bubba time. I used to work until all hours of the night because I love it. It's my passion project. Sorry, I'm getting all these texts. It's what I do, but I was neglecting my husband. And as a result, we kind of like started living together independently. And so at the end of the night, I keep my computer away, and it's really hard but we do dishes together, or we watch a show together, or we plan out our week together, or we'll go work on a project together, or we try to do something together. And then once in a while, you know, we're like maybe working on stuff at the same time, but we're doing it together. And then I try to go to bed by 11, sometimes it's midnight, but I don't get on my computer anymore at night because sometimes I'd be up till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then that's it. So if you do that math, it really doesn't give me a lot of time to work. It really doesn't. And so I have to be careful because there are a lot of times during my day where I have to be on social media for a minute. I have to be doing stuff like this. I have to be doing stuff, and I have to find little slices of time. But if you're not careful, that can seep into your whole day. So that's the balance I'm trying to find now. And it's not perfect, but that's just what I do. So I've started saying no to almost everything actually, and just really prioritizing. And so that's kind of how I do my day. You guys are the best. I gotta go. It's been really fun. Sorry this is so long, but I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. Every Tuesday we do live Q&As. If you missed some, they're all on Facebook. And then some of, I feel like the most important ones are on YouTube.